Thank you for tuning in to yet another season of The Verdict. Today, we're going to look back on some summer films and reminisce on the good, the bad, and the ugly the summer box office had to offer. We'll be coming back at you right after this. Welcome to The Verdict. I'm Zack Pugh.
I'm Jeralyn Johnson.
And I'm Patrick Jimenez. Leading this off, the season of The Verdict, we have Solo, a Star Wars story. Solo is a 2018 American space western film based on the Star Wars character of Han Solo, co-directed with Ron Howard, Phil Lord, and Christopher Miller, and produced by Lucasfilm. This is the second Star Wars anthology film following up Rogue One. Here is the trailer for Solo, a Star Wars story.
You're after something. Is it revenge? Money? Or is it something else? You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job. Big shot gangster putting together crew.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer. I waited a long time for a shot like this. What do you think? Well, what do you know?
You got a line on a ship?
Yeah, I know a guy. He's the best smuggler around.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
L3! Let go of the mean man's face.
Who are these guys? If you come with us, you're in this life for good.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Here they come! Let me give you some advice. Assume everyone will betray you, and you will never be disappointed.
I got a really good feeling about this.
Since when do you know how to fly?
190 years old? You look great.
Push it! So glad we took this job!
With a 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, what did you guys think of Solo, a Red Cup story?
You know, the Solo movie was fairly well done. Woody Harrelson's character I liked, and I really liked how Donald Glover did his character of Lando Calrissian. I don't know if you guys felt about that, but he got a lot of mentorship from Billy D. Williams and made him the character of that movie, in my opinion. It was probably the best well-done character of that film. Overall, I think it was fairly well done. I think the critics kind of took it apart a little bit too much at times. So,
What'd you think?
I could not finish it. I honestly, I tried to watch it and I gave it my best go and I couldn't finish it. I thought it was embellished way too much, and I mean, I like Han Solo. I think he's a great character, but I couldn't get into it. I think the best part about it was Donald Glover, because he's great all around, but I'm biased, so.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, did we need this movie? Did we need a Solo movie? Did we ask for one? That was a big, I think that's why the box office crashed. Not because it was a poorly made movie. I mean, it was it was an easy story. I mean, it was the adventure film. It's I call it the checklist film. What do you need in a Star Wars movie? You need Imperials, you need laser guns, you need, a lightsaber. Spoilers. But but I just feel like it was a film that was just made because I think it was a reaction, because I see a lot of people talking about why did it fail at the box office. It wasn't because, like I said, marketing or any of that. It's because nobody wanted it. It came right after Last Jedi, but they announced it back when Force Awakens came out. And Force Awakens came out, and it had the scene with Solo and Ben Solo, and that happened. And I think that was a reaction of Disney saying, hey, that might have happened in Force Awakens, but we're getting his own story, and it wasn't really that appealing. I mean, especially the cinematography, that was my biggest gripe, because everything was low lighting, everything looked super murky, and it was just like, and it seemed like there was supposed to be humor in it, but like it was so serious looking, it was hard to tell when you were supposed to be like, or just kind of like that was kind of an awkward scene. I don't know. I just feel like they should just take a break from these types of films for right now.
I think overall, like Rogue One did a really good job of putting the prequels in with the originals, from going to 3 to 4, and really kind of meshing those together. With Solo, we know that he's in that type of time frame in between those movies because he's younger than what he is in 4. I think overall, I do agree a little bit that the movie was definitely kind of hodgepodgey and had some low lighting issues and some technical issues, and the humor didn't always pinpoint. I still think it was a little bit better done than what the other films had, or what the other people had said about it. But that's based off of the character himself and how they kind of brought it together. I'm a huge Han Solo fan, so I can't blame anything on that. But overall, I think the character wasn't that bad, and the movie was okay.
Yeah, I would feel like, I mean, I think if they had more time, especially with all they're trying to do what Marvel's doing.
Yeah.
That Disney's like, okay, we got Star Wars. What do we do now? Do we? I guess we just make Solo. People like Solo. They have like 15, 20 movies planned out.
Yeah,
and they're
Fett,
starting to
Yoda.
pull directors and writers and like make this a trilogy. Do this section of the galaxy. Do this section. Rian Johnson, you get your own. Although you divided the whole fan base. It's like, I think they just should dial it back because it doesn't feel like these are genuine films.
Well, didn't they have 2 different directors start out for that?
Well, yeah, because it started off, that's why it says, it was co-directed, but what happened was it had Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, they were directing the film. And they got about 85% of production done when I guess Disney and Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm were like, this isn't turning out the way we wanted it. So they fired them, creative differences, they left, hired Ron Howard because he's safe. They just wanted to be like, hey, just take the script and make it the way we wanted it. Because they said it was going off like Ace Ventura kind of improv. So they scratched that and brought in Ron Howard. And he just, from what I've heard, you hear different reports and stuff, but like 80% of the movie was reshot.
I did hear that too. Yeah. I think the Ace Ventura type humor would have actually kind of been okay for this type of film.
Like doing something different, like not playing it safe. And that's what I feel like that's what's happening. And when episode 9 comes out, it's going to be a big fanfare, fan service type film. And I wish they would take chances. Everybody dogs Lucas for the prequels, but he was innovative in creating complete worlds from scratch in the computer. I mean, granted, say what you want about visual effects, but at least he tried something new.
We'll say the nice spoiler alert is the Darth Maul thing. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it.
Not really ruining anything because I don't think they're going to continue these movies.
They might. I mean, Darth Maul's character ignition into that was really cool. Seeing the guy who originally played Darth Maul in the prequels, because that was such a kicking, just a great character. And so you've got to look at that and go, wow, why didn't we ever do anything with this guy?
Yeah.
And now they're morphing it around. So.
You see, I thought Rogue One was really good. I thought Rogue One was great, and I thought that it really gave the backstory to the revolution of that world. And then they tied it off like perfect. Like I didn't think it was going to end that way, but then Solo just disappointed me all around. It was like, I mean, they had good actors. They had really great actors, but I just didn't think that it suited. Like it wasn't needed, at all. Like I didn't want to see it. I didn't care to see it. I had to force myself to watch it just for the purpose of saying, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, think about it. Force Awakens came out in 2015. It is 2018 now. There's been 4 Star Wars movies.
Golly.
4. And those you used to wait like 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 years before you get the next one because you got to build the story and the characters. And like I said, I felt like they call it the checklist movie. Like, okay, well, didn't he say something about a Kessel Run? Okay, we'll put that in the movie. They also had something about his name, Solo. That was the part in the movie, not really giving anything away. He's joining the army, and he goes in, and the officer tells him, he asks him, what's your name? And he says, Han, who are you with? I have nobody. Well, I'm going to call you Solo. That's your name, Han. So we don't need that. Like that to me is like pulling for a story.
Pulling teeth.
Like it's one thing to be like, oh, that's where he found the Millennium Falcon, but it's one thing to be like, that's how he got his name. Like, come on, Disney. You got all this money, and like the budget went over from reshoots and all that.
Yeah.
You just think that they would have taken the time to like tell an interesting story, not one that's like right before New Hope or right before the events of Vader going onto the ship. I just feel like do something completely off, like in a different time frame, and then, a different side of the galaxy, something new and fresh. So that's why everybody loved Star Wars when it came out, in the 70s, and you watched it, like, why did the fandom happen? It's because it was new.
It wasn't the norm.
Yeah, and it wasn't this type of like, I don't know, just like fan service. Yeah. So, I don't know.
All right. So next summer film we will speak about is The Meg. The Meg is a novel of deep terror by Steve Alton, and it stars Jason Statham, Lee Bingbing, Rainn Wilson, Ruby Rose, Winston Chow, and Cliff Curtis, and follows a group of scientists who encounter a 75-foot-long megalodon shark while on a rescue mission at the bottom of the floor of the Pacific Ocean. And here is the trailer for The Meg.
What's that?
There's a monster outside.
What you people discovered is bigger than we ever thought possible.
How big is that thing?
It was the largest shark that ever existed.
A living fossil.
Thought to have been extinct for over 2 million years. Wrong.
My God.
It's a megalodon.
He's kidding, right?
That thing's out there. You need to find it and kill it.
Why don't you just put a tracker on it? Did you guys ever watch Shark Week?
He looks heroic, but he's kind of got a negative attitude.
Chew on this, you ugly.
So, did you guys think this movie was deep, or did it simply just sink?
It was a big sink. It was a mega letdown. That movie was, man, I was conflicted because I wanted it to be like a guilty pleasure. Like, I knew it was gonna be terrible, but I would privately like it and like watch the visual effects and all that stuff. But no, like it immediately started with action. You don't know who's anybody in the film, and then it starts, and then is this a point A to point B to get to this point? It's literally an uninteresting Jaws.
It is. It is definitely an uninteresting Jaws, but I really loved, like Rainn Wilson made the movie, I think. However, I still think that, I don't know, like, there was just action everywhere, so it was really fun to watch, for me at least. But, I mean, the only thing, the acting was like Ruby Rose was not needed for that film. She's just the hot spot right now, and I don't think she's terrible. I think she's awful, but I think the CGI with the sharks, I thought that was really cool. Like, that was the coolest part to me. And they did have some jump scares, so it was fun to watch with your friends. You're like, oh God, that happened. And I'm not gonna lie, I screamed a couple times because I was like, whoa, that just happened. And that's just my view. I could defend it to like, because I think it was fun. It's like a fun movie. It's not supposed to, I don't think it's supposed to be taken seriously.
Turn your brain
but
off.
yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be taken seriously. But I think like people like Jason Statham, you can't have him in a movie and take it like it can't be funny because it's like he's like, we gotta get the shock, we gotta get him, and you're like,
I can't go back in the water.
Yeah.
I can't go back in the water.
Yeah, he makes it too serious, I think. But I think it's supposed to be just a fun movie. It's fun for the summer because everyone's on a big shark kick. But we have to think, it's not real. Whatever, it's not real. It never will be because that shark is, it's extinct.
So lower your expectations.
Yeah, lower your expectations. Go in there with
have
the
none.
Have none.
I think I agree with you a little bit. I mean, it comes out at a time when we have the Shark Week thing going on, and so you've got to kind of think of it as that. All right, Shark Week's going on. What film are we going to do now? How about a giant shark? And to me, it's a glorified Jaws. Did Jaws go into hibernation and just start growing and growing and growing? Like that's what to me it felt like. Rainn Wilson, I agree. Rainn Wilson was, he's amazing. I love him in some of the other things. I've seen him in The Office, obviously, and then The Rocker. The Rocker is like one of my favorites. So I love him and was expecting all this funny stuff, and I got that from him. But as a whole, the movie was just, it sunk terribly, like rock bottom to the nth degree.
Yeah, my problem with it was it wasn't like if you're gonna like my problem with disaster movies, and I think it continues with all these movies, whether it be a Roland Emmerich, Independence Day, or 2012, anything that has like doom in it, like whether it be a shark or whatever the case may be, we have to care about the characters.
Right.
We have to, but that's my problem with the Meg. It's like, does it want to be this serious Jaws film, or does it want to be Sharknado? It doesn't know. Like Rainn Wilson knows this is a 70-foot shark. It's a goofy movie, but everyone else plays it so straight and flat. But he's the only one who's cracking jokes. So in a weird way, he was almost annoying.
Right.
Not because of who he is, but just because nobody was playing. There was no chemistry. He was just not playing off. And there were scenes, like I was saying earlier, where they go to the boat and then the wave, and then the little girl's there to say something cute. They get inside the elevator and she's not in the shot. I was like, did she just like walk off and go around the boat on her own? I don't know. I just
decided to start swimming.
And they spent $150 million making this movie.
Oh.
$150 million making a big shark movie.
$150 million?
Yes. I mean, being a studio, I couldn't imagine just being like, all right, we're gonna have a big shark, Jason Statham, and it's gonna be set in China.
Well, we'll
have Jason Statham in it and Rainn Wilson.
Add comedy, Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, but that's
who can we get that isn't too expensive?
They didn't know what it wanted to be. So that's my biggest problem with that movie. Was like, what do you want to be? You want to be serious? And there's like a corny joke.
And not only that, they also had that weird love triangle, love interest kind of thing, and you're like, is this necessary? This is a shark movie.
Yeah.
You have time to fall in love on a boat? No.
Of course you do if you're Jason Statham.
And then they had like that random like shot of like the little chubby kid with like the popsicle. Why was that? I thought he was gonna be like a character like that. I thought that he was gonna like he was gonna show something big, but no. It was completely stupid. It was pointless. It was like, why'd you even like make me care about him for a second?
That's how I described the movie.
Honestly.
You have anything to add to the Meg?
It was awful. I can't even.
The crying scene, Ruby Rose's crying scene.
Oh my god!
That's all I have to say. I don't know if anybody even cares about watching this movie, but just type in Ruby Rose crying scene.
The coolest thing for me was just the overall. You get it from the commercial too. The shark clamping on the station.
Yeah,
that was cool. Like I was like, all right, this is gonna scare the crap out of me.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. I mean, there is a potential to tell a scary, entertaining movie. Yeah, if you're gonna go serious, go full on, stone face the whole time. Even if it's like somebody saying a 70-foot shark is coming on the shore, there's no way. So, but yeah, if I had like, I'm glad we're getting these bad ones out of the way. A 5 for Solo. A 3 for the Meg, just because the visual effects were good.
The visual effects were good.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. So last and absolutely not least, we will discuss Avengers: Infinity War. Infinity War is a 2018 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superheroes team known as the Avengers. It is a sequel to 2012's The Avengers and 2015's Avengers: Age of Ultron, and the 19th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Here is your trailer for Infinity War.
There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people. to see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.
And after making $2.46 billion in the box office, did you guys think this was a super film? And a lot of people are concerned about spoilers and stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie, you might want to press pause. But here we go.
Avengers was great. It was. I've kind of fallen off the Marvel bandwagon for a while. Not that they're bad movies. It's just need a break. And I mean, I feel like each one just kind of like the Star Wars thing and how Disney works and maneuvers their films. It was great though. I was entertained the whole way through. You felt the emotion. I didn't feel it long because it is Marvel, and nobody dies in Marvel movies. So it didn't really have a huge impact, but just because I know that. But as a film, yeah, it was solid, man. It was a great time in the movies.
Honestly, I didn't feel like I was there that long when I watched it. Like, I did not think for 1 second that I was like, oh, I'm gonna, be in here for a really long time. But you know that when you go see Marvel movies, they're so long. And I spent all summer investing my time to get caught up because I was like, all right, it's been years since I've watched Marvel movies and I gotta understand the story. So I spent all summer catching up, and then I watched it and I was like, oh my God, now I see what everyone's talking about. And I saw all these memes and I was like, please stop with the memes because I don't understand any of them, guys. I want to watch the movie first. And I did, and I cried because it was so good. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Yeah. And so many emotions, but we all know that it's not the end of the end, so.
And as I told you guys too, I'm a die-hard superhero fan. So for me, these movies are, each little one is like a hodgepodge of my childhood from reading comics and all that. So a comic reader, I have the chance to be able to come in and see this movie and go, okay, this is probably what's going to happen. Everyone has their own theories and stuff. Yeah. But for me, the movie itself was great. I love Tom Holland and Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr.'s Spider-Man and Iron Man's little banter they have in the film. Cumberbatch does an amazing job bantering with them as well, introducing the Guardians of the Galaxy in the film to everyone else and bringing that into a full effect and all that. I mean, they do such a good job in weaving these characters in. And then on top of that, future movies that come out like the Ant-Man and the Wasp, they lead into that too, showing a little bit more of a glimpse of what's happening, and we all expect that, of course, from the future movies from them as well. So I think overall, it was great. Out of the three movies we have, it's definitely the good. Mm-hmm. Definitely, I think the bad would, and I hate to say it, is Solo, and the ugly has got to be the Meg. For me, it's the Meg. The Meg's the ugly. But I think this movie was awesome. It's nailed out of the park. It's a great superhero movie.
Yeah.
I just don't think Marvel can make a bad movie.
Daredevil.
Well, okay, I've not seen that one. I mean, like the ones that everyone. Well, I never heard about that one, but I'm not gonna lie. I think the ones that I've seen, like the ones that are in like not the little small ones, like the ones that have the thing.
That are in the cinematic universe.
Yeah, exactly.
That one,
that are in the story.
In the story, I think they're great. Like all of them, I loved them. Like my favorites are the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. I love those movies so much, and to see them in it, like with everyone else, oh my gosh, it was just perfect.
Yeah, the directors understood like what makes those characters great, because they have 2 directors and they have all these characters. This should have been like, I feel like it should have been like a huge mess. Because you have all these characters.
Expendables.
The only person, the only person who didn't have a good place in the film was Captain America.
I agree.
And I think the reason for that is because the character itself it's nomad. He's not necessarily, if you noticed in the progression of Captain America, and it's something you notice too in the costume, that costume is degenerating, and it's getting worse and worse and more wear and tear. And so he's not really Cap anymore. He's more of nomad. And so, and they don't necessarily touch base about that. So that's why he feels so kind of like everyone else is like, okay, this makes sense. And then he's like, why is he here? What is this? So I can agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree. He's the one eyesore for the film, and I think it's also because Evans and Hemsworth and all them are kind of on their way out for the next phase.
Yeah.
I mean, and the cool thing is it's 10 years of these films coming out. As you said, the cinematic films, I don't think Marvel can do bad on those.
Yeah, they're great.
Now, as for the non-cinematic films,
I've not seen those.
Daredevil, we're not talking about that one.
But I don't want, like you said,
Affleck doesn't talk about that one either.
Everything. Like I said, when they were making the Dark Knight trilogy, and they were like, oh man, this is the greatest thing ever. You can't go wrong with these characters. But it's all about, like I said, you guys saw the Captain Marvel trailer recently that just dropped. That looks weak. It looked like Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern. Like that's what visually, the aesthetic of the film looked kind of cheap.
I agree with you. I think that's a different, in my opinion, a different topic. But that character is going to be a pinnacle point in the movie for the next one that's coming up. So if you're Marvel and you're Disney, especially, because Disney, if you're Disney especially, you have to make sure that this next movie, because it's such a pinnacle character, gets knocked out of the park. And I agree with you that trailer, no.
Yeah, I'm worried. I mean, like now you're just like pulling every character you have in every comic. Like, I feel like just my opinion, but I feel like DC has, in the aspect of a hero, I think they have a great lineup, but they don't have the right people in charge. I just heard that the people in charge of Warner Brothers now, the head guy is in charge of. He used to work for water parks. So you have somebody who has no idea what's going on. Yeah. But the thing is with Marvel is that they have this plan. They're like, here's all of our movies for 120,000 years. Like where's the element of surprise?
Well, the other thing is, too, if you think about it as the characters, Marvel started back in, I think, if I remember correctly, 2000 with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then DC got into the game super late for movies. Now, for television, DC is knocked out of the park. Marvel can't keep up, in my personal opinion. I'm not an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. Yeah. But for movies, DC, as you said, they've kind of missed the mark on the movie section because they don't have the right people. If they got the right people in, then they would be good. Marvel sets a precedent for superhero movies compared to DC.
I also think they know what they're doing. And maybe not know what they're doing, but they know that, all right, here's the plan, and let's just plug in these directors to fill in. Because, every film kind of looks the same.
I would say
aesthetically, what you're looking at, it's a Marvel movie.
Thor Ragnarok and the Guardians of the Galaxy movies is a prime example.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what universe is this? I mean, they went from Asgard to like Alien, and everybody's following like Hulk around. I mean, that's just me. I feel like we're at the peak, with Black Panther and Avengers, but a part of me feels like it's time to for these movies to die out. What if there's like a big event movie that they have and just tanks? What if it gets soloed? And what if it did? And that way they can stop and be like, you know what? We should start making original movies again.
It goes mega wrong. It goes mega wrong. I tried. I can't
wrong
like that.
Mega wrong, or living solo.
Yeah.
But I think that's all we got for today, right?
Yeah, I believe that's all we've got. You know, I want to thank you guys for letting me be on part of the show. You know, it's my first time being on The Verdict, so thank you so much.
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate it. You know, I think I've told y'all about this. I have a show coming up next Tuesday. You know, we do our first airing ever for Pop versus Culture. We pit superhero characters against each other, and the fans decide who wins.
That sounds really awesome.
So it's going to be pretty cool. Check it out, watch it, you know, vote.
Yeah.
First episode's myself and Mike Dunn, so that'll be cool.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for today, guys. So tune in next week when we have our indie films. We have Blair Witch Project and 8th Grade. Have a good day.
Nice.